On today's show, Capcom has new prey to hunt, cheaters, is Monster Hunter slowing down, and finally, I'm letting the wheel decide my next new main weapon. So don't forget your hot drinks as we ready up for this episode of the Palibros. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 10. That's right, 1-0. We hit double digits of the Palibros. We're a podcast where a group of friends come together to talk about anything and everything Monster Hunter. Of course, I'm one of your hosts and the first to cart, Patrick Jovez. Alongside me, we have the Mixette Maniac, Brian. The Hunting Horn Elitist, Max.
Greetings.
And making his long-awaited return. I need a pot. Jason.
How's it going, everyone?
It's going pretty well. It's been I think we had you episode 6? It's been a while, right?
Yeah. A lot has changed.
Nice. But I'm assuming you're still a longsword main, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
You dirty motherfucker. Sorry. That's all good. Yeah. It's great to have you back, Jason. Excited to have you here. Have you first of all, we haven't got to play that much since the last time, but have you checked out any of the new Blossom Dance Festival?
I took a back seat a little bit. Was like since episode 6, just been straight into grinding my sets, and then decided to take a little break until the title update actually came out. But I actually haven't bounced back in yet. Work got me a little bit busy, and then so did the kids, so looking to get right back into it probably sometime next week.
Nice. Okay, but I'm assuming you may have not touched the Blossom Dance Festival. Have you done any of the Grand Hub stuff at all? Have you been there?
Oh,
wow.
Nothing.
You were min-maxing hard until the update, huh?
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be like a breath of fresh air when I get back in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll hit you up the next time when I get on too. But yeah, how's everyone else doing?
Good.
Yeah. Anybody pick up a Switch 2 yet?
Ooh, we tried last night. We haven't got any demos of it yet, though. No one's fortunate enough to visit any stores. But yeah, excited to hopefully get our hands on it in the coming months.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
maybe Monster Hunter on Switch.
Oh man, maybe we get. Who knows? I was gonna say hopefully we get like an update for Generations Ultimate. That'd be pretty sick. Or Double Cross.
Praying. Yeah, Double Cross praying.
That'd be pretty sick. But of course, let me remind you that this is the Palibros podcast, where each and every episode we try to keep you up to date on the latest Monster Hunter news, play Monster Hunter trivia, and in general talk about one of our favorite franchises. So don't forget, you can get each and every episode on youtube.com/@thepalibros, Spotify, and a variety of other podcast services for your listening pleasure. And if you will like what we do, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this episode with friends, and hitting that bell icon to help support us and to know when each of the latest episodes are posted. Also helps us with the algorithm getting noticed and all that good stuff. So go ahead and support us, give us a shout out, all that jazz, and appreciate you guys for doing that. A little bit of housekeeping for you. Starting April 22nd through May 6th, there is going to be a metric shit ton of event quests that are dropping. There is literally like 10 or 15, something like that. So if you're a video viewer, I'll go ahead and throw up the schedule for all that right now, so you guys can take a look, take a screenshot, see anything that you want to fight. Let's see here. Looks like there's some Gravios in here. There's some tempered Woo, Zhuwu, Lollapalooza's, other tempered, lots of tempered stuff. So there's a bunch of that for you guys who want to do some of the harder variety of hunting. But yeah, and if you're an audio listener, dude, what are you guys doing? Come to the video side. It's fun. We have fun graphics. Sometimes there's a wheel spin here or there. It's a good time.
Join us.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Nice.
But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and begin with our show.
If I might interject.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please. I'm dying over here.
On the event quest side, I've heard that the reward tickets for the Blossom Festival scale in regards to the difficulty of the quest. So if you're doing like a normal quest versus like a tempered monster quest, and the tier of tempered monster quest determines on how many tickets you get. I've personally heard that the tempered Gravios hunt is a very good option for farming event rewards. If you get like a group of people using water heavy bowgun sets, you can kill it in like a minute and 30 seconds.
Wow.
Nice. It runs.
Basically.
Yeah.
So that's a good farming option. It also gives you cooking supplies for as well.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, Max. Thank you for keeping us honest. But why would I need to do that if I could just mod in all my rewards?
No! What a great segue.
With all that out the way, let's begin our show with the latest in Monster Hunter news. Today in Monster Hunter news, we have 3 stories. Our first story, Capcom says it's already taken and will continue to take action to ban Monster Hunter Wilds cheaters as it begins a 1 to 2 week review of the Challenge Quest leaderboard. Sorry, I'm like trying to hold in a burp. This is from PCGamer.com and is written by Lincoln Carpenter. Monster Hunter Wilds just finished up its first limited time challenge quest where hunters could compete on a worldwide leaderboard for the fastest clear time in a hunt against a Dusha Guma to earn bragging rights and cosmetic rewards. Unsurprisingly, those leaderboards were quickly flooded with cheaters posting impossibly fast hunting times. Today, Capcom said it's beginning a review of the leaderboard so that it can take action against users who have posted illegitimate times. The final rankings result for this quest will be confirmed during a 1 to 2 week review period from today, Capcom said in a Steam news post. Event rewards will be distributed after any fraudulent clear times have been investigated and excluded. Before the Doshiguma of the Hollow Quest kicked off, Capcom said it would take action against accounts participating in fraudulent ranking activity. Given how easy it is to hop on Nexus mods and grab a few mods that let you kill dinosaurs just by breathing on them, it wasn't clear how much of a deterrent Capcom's declaration would be. Considering that players were immediately posting kill times of 0 seconds, the answer seems to be not very much at all. While Capcom might not have been able to prevent the tainting of its leaderboards, it is said it'll be purging the rankings of illegitimate clear times and punishing those accounts responsible. In fact, it says the punishing has already begun. Hooray! When we exclude the fraudulent clear times, we will also place restrictions on those accounts. The user's clear time will not be registered in the rankings from that point, and they will not receive the event rewards, Capcom said. In addition, we have already taken and will continue to take action to ban accounts that our reviews have found to be cheating. What's interesting is Capcom said that in addition to judging clear times, it will also conduct its own investigations. Wow, they're really doing investigation quests on cheaters. Oh my God. What those investigations might look like is anyone's guess. In past PC releases, Capcom has turned a blind eye to monster hunting modding, so it's hard to say what kind of telemetry the studio is able to collect about what software modifications the players might be running. In a page warning against unauthorized Monster Hunter Wilds data modification, however, Capcom said its plans to implement additional countermeasures in future updates to detect users who have engaged in unauthorized modification of game data. That warning against data modification seems primarily directed at players who are modding quests to provide extra rewards. But if you run afoul of Capcom's efforts to root out cheating, it sounds like you won't have any opportunity to appeal the punishment. Quote, as we take action based on play data and history, we will not respond to any requests regarding the reversal of these measures, Capcom said. We urge all players to refrain from engaging in fraudulent activities. Hopefully, Capcom is able to differentiate between purely cosmetic mods and add-ons that alter quest rewards and player damage output, especially when some players have to turn on mods to alleviate WoW's still iffy performance. At the very least, if you're going to be posting times during the next challenge quest, my advice would be to turn off all mods, cosmetic or otherwise. Whew, there's a lot to unpack there. Who wants to go first?
Well, I knew this was going to be an issue as soon as I heard that they were going to be giving out rewards based on leaderboard rankings.
Yeah, you called it really early on.
I mean, because I knew this, we saw this coming from like the Monster Hunter Worlds leaderboards. It's like totally rife with cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, personally, like I went back to reclaim my honor after my embarrassing showing with the insect glaive.
Reclaim.
I went back and I got my A rank with the hunting horn, which it was a challenge. It didn't take me that long, but it certainly gave me a little bit of a run for my money.
Yeah, gold was
But I
what,
bet it made,
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what your time was?
I think it was like a 4:48 or something.
Wow. That's nice.
Right.
Yeah. We were in like the 10s and 11s when we did the randomized challenge quest version of that. So nice.
Yeah, so it took me quite a few tries. I think I started like my first time was like a 6:42 or something, and then I sort of clawed my way down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's fun challenge, but I mean, looking at the leaderboard, it's like, you know, the top spots you had to be under like a 230 or something to even place on the leaderboard.
Right.
And you know, it's so discouraging when you look at like, you know, even if Capcom hasn't taken them off the leaderboards yet, like if assuming half of those were cheaters, it's like you don't even know what time you would need to get to place on the leaderboard, because you won't see where you are relative. Like after they cut those 5,000 people off, you don't know what that cutoff time is going to be once they've eliminated those people. So it's like it's just a whole mess. And I'm glad that Capcom has walked that back, and they're making it so that just getting an A rank is enough to get all the rewards now.
Yeah, because that's it actually reminds me of a really dumb trophy from Killzone 2, specifically multiplayer, right?
The ribbon one, yeah.
The ribbon, yeah. If you guys played Killzone 2 back in the day, the multiplayer, there was this insane trophy where you had to be. Do you remember it, Brian? It was like you had to be like top 5% of like kills or something for the month. It was insane. It was like completely unachievable, especially like I don't even know if they had cheaters back then on the PS3 area. I'm sure there were, but just that alone is such a crazy like threshold to be placed free to even, it's like unattainable. And basically this whole cheating situation basically renders it all that the same to me, because it's like you have all these cheaters who are posting 0 times right off the rip. Like they don't even have to like do anything, and they automatically get like the chance to get the reward. So it's definitely nice for Capcom to step that back and make it a much more fair fight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, like the whole leaderboard thing kind of goes against what I think about Monster Hunter. Like Monster Hunter has always been about like I'm not playing against other people. Like PvP just doesn't really fit thematically for me. Like to me it's always been about like I'm playing against myself to try and improve my times and learn all the openings and learn the monster. And it's like it just doesn't feel the same when it's like I'm competing with John Speedrunner.
Yeah.
Who got like
oh, that John.
I remember.
Like, has anyone else touched the challenge quest prior, like after we did the kind of our version of like Monster Hunter roguelike mixed with the challenge event?
I haven't personally.
No.
I know I need to give it a good shot with Lance to see if I can
I think the rewards are out now, so I think it might have rotated out.
Yeah, it's rotated out by now. Yeah.
Good. You're paying attention to the event quest section of the podcast.
Yep. It's all right. I actually went to go back and play it. I tried Greatsword because I was like, oh, I tried Greatsword before, but not realizing that it does take a lot, because if you want to get like the good offset attacks and stuff like that, you kind of have to know the monster's pattern, and then you also have to know how fast your attack patterns work, and you kind of have to know the controls. And me not touching Greatsword since Monster Hunter 4, I was like, there's some new shit in here that I don't know what I'm doing, and I ended up getting an even slower time than when I did with my heavy bowgun run, which it was pretty tough.
Yeah, I haven't played Greatsword since Try, and like it was so much simpler back then, which made Greatsword like, you know, fun, but also like it was very limited in what you could do. But now it's like I kind of want to get back into Greatsword just to see. There's so much changes that I've seen with it, but it's like it's a little bit overwhelming. But it's like people say Greatsword is really. It's like if you're a solo Greatsword person, then you really know what you're doing, because Greatsword is super hard to solo monsters with, just because of just how slow it is, and you know, timing is everything. So you'll know a good Greatsword player when you see one. So it's like it's really challenging in that regard.
Yeah, if anyone in the audience has never seen like a Monster Hunter speedrun, I suggest you look it up, especially with a Greatsword. It's super interesting because it seems like one, the person fighting the monster very much knows the patterns and stuff like that, but two, like they waste there's like no fat to the run, and that's exactly what a speed run is. But it's really cool seeing something that seems very slow and cumbersome being like done in such a elegant and quick way, an efficient way. Like you see Greatsword users use like shoulder charge to like tank hits and stuff like that, and then they know exactly what the monster's about to do when they set up their offset, so they're not even like taking damage. And it's just like it's the part of the Greatsword that everyone fucking loves, when you hit the big ass hit and the monster just like flails back and stuff like that. So it's definitely something to watch out for. If you've never seen, I highly recommend you guys watch a couple of speedrunning videos of anything, but definitely check out the Greatsword video.
Thinking about the cheating, you know, something that is going to be, of course, very concerning and was mentioned in that last paragraph of the article that you read is hopefully that they can distinguish between something as simple as a cosmetic mod and something that actually does adjust damage values or quest rewards and things like that. Because like you said, there's a lot of folks, and like the article said, there's a lot of folks that rely on just simple mods to help with better performance, clawing back whatever you can get, you know, modifying textures, changing LOD distances, you know, disabling stuff in the INI file, you know, that you're not normally able to. And it's like, that would suck if people are kind of flagged as cheaters just because they were
doing something that wasn't already like programmed into the game. Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up, Brian, because moving on to our second story, Capcom is coming for those who of you who modded their Monster Hunter Wilds to allow them. Capcom is coming for those of you who modded their Monster Hunter Wilds to allow for more hunters and more monsters per quest. This article comes by way of VG247.com and is written by Sharif Saeed. Since its first arrival on PC with Monster Hunter World, series fans have been introduced to the magic of PC modding. Pretty much everything you could change, some intrepid modder managed to. This continued with the recent release of Monster Hunter Wilds, of course, but some of the mods are taking things way too far, and Capcom has put those players on notice. The problem is, not everyone playing realizes that they're playing a modded quest. Capcom doesn't appear to have an issue with mods like ones that change the game's visuals, swap character models, tweaks outfits, and so on. The developer, however, is very concerned about mods that change the way quests work to allow for things not supported by the game. More specifically, players have been able to mod high-rank quests, investigations, and field surveys to not only increase the number of possible monsters within each, some mods can also increase the number of players who can participate in each one too. This massively affects the game's balance, not to mention change the reward structure of a core component of Monster Hunter. The idea of modding a game to create a more rewarding environment obviously isn't exclusive to Monster Hunter, but because of the way co-op hunting game is structured, going beyond the design parameters completely destroys the experience. What's more frustrating here is that new players who may not be familiar with how many monsters/players are allowed per quest, or even those not paying attention, could end up in a game where the host modified the quest to allow for rewards for more hunters. Without knowing what's standard for each, you may not be able to detect that something looks off. This is why Capcom published a list of standard parameters of quests that you should look at, so that it's harder for you to join modded games. Quote, "We have confirmed the unauthorized modification of game data in Monster Hunter Wilds for high-rank environment investigations, field surveys, and more. Modified data can interfere with normal gameplay and even render the game unplayable. If you suspect a quest has been modified, please do not play it or stop playing it immediately." End quote. Unfortunately, Capcom is currently unable to determine whether a specific quest had been modified, but the developer is working on implementing quote, "additional countermeasures," end quote, in future updates to detect players who modified their games, and hopefully warn other players not to join them and get themselves implicated. While Capcom has previously deleted unrealistic times from Monster Hunter Wild's challenge quest leaderboards, the developer hasn't said whether the players responsible for them had been banned. From the looks of things, the process of identifying cheaters may not be as straightforward as it is in other games. So it sounds like people are catching strays out there, is what this article is telling me.
Right.
Even people that aren't actively trying to cheat can get caught up in this, from what it sounds like. But there's also some sort of weird thing, like, I mean, yeah, it's hard to identify who's cheating and who's not. So I feel like the catch-all would kind of just to kind of see like who has any sort of mods in your version of the game. I don't know if anyone has the tools for that, but yeah, just be very careful with your modding if you are a Steam player. Is basically what I'm hearing.
I mean,
the real question is,
go ahead, sorry.
I mean, the real question is to what extent, or like how far could they go? How could they even monitor this? I mean, like, you know, you think about like GTA and the stories of like some cheater flies over to them, spawns money on their head, and then you get banned for having illegal money. Like, I mean, like, I think there's a limit to plausible deniability if you're like, oh, how could I not realize that there aren't 6 monster quests in the game? Surely that wasn't modded. Yeah. But I mean, like, nobody's gonna pay attention to the amount of Zenny reward. Like, if it's a modded quest that's like gives 200 Zenny more than the normal amount, like, nobody's gonna see that. And if it's like, you've been banned for doing a hacked quest, that's kind of scary. But then there's like people using like cosmetic mods for like palette swaps or something. Like, you could say that's whatever, but there's also people accessing like files within the game that aren't available yet for event quests.
Right.
For like, people have been walking around wearing like the scarf from Journey or whatever it is, and like armor pieces that aren't available yet in the game. People that are using skins for like the Sacred from DLC that has not been released yet. Which is like, that's kind of really towing or pushing a line where that's kind of like, that's Capcom's profits right there.
Yeah.
You have all these people going on Reddit like, whoa, this armor is really cool, how do I get it? And it's like, you can't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, I mean, I guess that I can see why it'd be hard, because like, as like from a developer standpoint, like they're gonna say we need to find a way to, you know, identify who's cheating. Well, we'll say, okay, well, what counts as cheating versus what counts as, you know, modding, right? So they're gonna eventually fall into the same bucket, because there's no way to differentiate what's a cheat versus what's a mod, right? So it's like, in the game file, if they're gonna have to find a way to say, oh, this is just a cosmetic mod, that's fine. This guy's actually cheating, you know, that's a no-no, right? So, but in the same way, it's still cheating, or I wouldn't say cheating, but more so like it's frowned upon, and I guess that's why, like in past Monster Hunters, they really couldn't do anything about it because they really couldn't find a way to identify versus what like someone that's doing it for like a single player cosmetic versus someone who's actually modding, because there's no great fine line between that.
And so like just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've used mods quite a bit in some of the previous Monster Hunter games, and they're like, even in those mods, like there's always been a built-in sanity check.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you're modding in like a talisman or something, like you have your table up and it'll tell you like these are the legal limits that are allowed within the game. Like on the 3DS, it would be like, you know, the game, this talisman will brick. It'll like turn it into nothing if it exceeds the natural limits of what's like within the boundaries. Same thing like for Monster Hunter Rise and doing like the curious quests or investigations or whatever, like based on what investigation level you were, like there's certain limits as to what was allowed for quests. And like I had a lot of fun modding those quests because they're annoying to like grind to level them up. And you know, it's like I had fun devising like the most despicable, horrific quests possible, like the nastiest combinations of monsters and conditions.
Right.
And I mean, I thought that was fun, but I mean, you know, that's technically, I created the quest by using a modding tool, but it still technically fell within the legal limits of what was allowed in the game. So it's like there's a lot of gray area here, and I'm concerned and interested to see what Capcom does to address this.
I think the difference between like then and now, especially, is because of having rewards attached to like getting specific things. Also, well, no, let me run that back, because they're kind of just saying, what am I trying to say here? I think part of it is tied to the rewards part aspect of it, of like, okay, like the 0 times thing, clearly there's a reward attached to this, we have to fix this now because that's totally unfair to the entire Monster Hunter community. But then also, like in the same vein, they are also cracking down on people that are modding stuff because it's leaking future content, which is also the bigger, like a big issue, because that's exactly what you said, Max. Like that's their bag. Like, you are taking away hype, you're taking away like actual revenue from like from like drops and stuff like that. Like, people are accessing things that shouldn't be accessed because it's not part of their like roadmap as of yet, or it's like not supposed to be released way down the line. And like Capcom unfortunately has a history of like getting hacked with like games like help me out here, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That was, you want to see masterclass in like not putting all your stuff on all your content on the disc and hoping for the best. Yeah, you go ahead and watch what happened there. But you know, just because the stuff is on the disc and just because we have like a roadmap ready doesn't mean that it should be accessed by anyone who's unauthorized to, like, that's not for anyone else's to kind of do other than Capcom. And so it's interesting to see how this has been such a big issue for a game that is really, I don't really think of like as like okay, we have to crack down on cheating because it's Monster Hunter, you know, like this seems like more like a Call of Duty or GTA Online type issue, but it's so
cooperative.
Yeah, it's like
who cares, right?
Yeah. You don't really see this kind of I guess not ire, but like this kind of rise up in just basically cheating, I guess, just to put it.
I mean, it'll mostly come down to two things when they have to react in this way, right? One is when it affects their bottom dollar, right? Definitely have to take action against that. That's when they have to do something. Second is Wilds is pretty critically successful. That has a bigger reach to like all the new players. So definitely it's going to, you know, affect how they are looked at for future games, right? Since Wilds is such a great success, that concurrent players are still up. It's the most players that they've seen from a Monster Hunter in a while.
So their best-selling title, right?
Yeah. So like, of course they would have to either say, hey, we're serious about this stuff, but all the OG people know, like, it's a slap on the wrist sometimes, right? So it's those two things. It affects their bottom line and their reach. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something to like remedy it, but also I don't know. I have very low expectations of how they can find that fine line between that, versus like breaking the rules versus doing something cosmetic that will just help you in that way.
Yeah, you leave my Alma cosmetic mods alone.
So that's one thing I'm curious if there's any sort of like corporate push for less mods, because I know that Capcom has been a little bit less favorable towards mods, especially looking at all the different Resident Evil mods or Street Fighter mods, like nude mods and all these other things that they don't like from a branding perspective. Like there was that Street Fighter tournament where somebody left on their nude Chun-Li mod, and it's like all of a sudden there was nude Chun-Li on the screen, and it's like that's their brand. Like they want everything to fit and to their vision. And if they have monsters running around with dick and balls out, like that doesn't that doesn't fit into like their design vision for the game. If somebody watches a streamer and like there's genitalia on screen for the monsters, like people were like, whoa, this is Monster Hunter? And like I don't think Capcom wants that. I don't know, to the extent like as soon as they try and crack down, they're going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's in that regards, like there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Because it's still bringing people in. Like maybe some people just want to try the game out. Well, get the game just to try to mod it to see what funny stuff they can do. There are a small subsection of people that just like do stuff like that, right? Yeah. So
Monster Hunter Dick and Balls edition. You watch out.
It's coming. I'll bet
it's coming. You son of a bitch. Oh my god, I'm surprised. How do we make it to 10 episodes so far? All right, moving on to our last story. Arch-tempered Ray Dow to appear in Monster Hunter Wilds on April 29th/30th. This article comes from Saiganak.com. The event quest, A Silent Flash, where you fight the enhanced individual Arch-tempered Ray Dow, is scheduled to be distributed from Tuesday, April 29th Pacific Time, or Wednesday, April 30th BST. The target field is Windward Plains. After clearing out the quest, you can obtain materials for the new Hunter Armor Ray Dow Gamma armor set and Palico Gear Ray Dow Gamma set. Please note that HR 50 or higher is required to participate. The distribution period is until Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 at 8:59 a.m. So yeah, this is the big part of the update that we've all been kind of waiting for. And I don't know if it was just me, but I was confused. I thought this was going to drop at the same time everything dropped. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. We fought the Zoshia. Anyone want to try the Arch-tempered Ray Dow? And everyone's like, no. Ryan was probably like, yeah, that's later. I was like, okay, I need to pay attention some more if I'm running a Monster Hunter podcast. But yeah, it's finally coming, and you bet your ass we're gonna hop on that at some point and do our first hunt with that and just kind of see how that goes. But I know a couple nights ago we started just hunting and kind of checking out the Blossom Dance Festival. You even did some some Ray Dow as well, and we were straight up destroying that thing. So I wonder how different it's going to be when Arch-tempered comes out. I mean, it's definitely going to hit harder, but we'll see. Like, what do you guys think is going to happen once it comes out? Are we going to start getting more complaints about, oh, what the hell was that? Like, it's Zoshia number 2.
I sure hope so. I would like there to be more of a difference beyond just it has more health and it hits harder. Yeah. Because I think we were talking about this as a group, when we last played, where it's like, it's great if it hits harder, but if it barely can hit you, like it kind of already is set up now, whether it's how slow it is or how inaccurate it is or it's how quickly it doesn't really chain its attacks, it doesn't matter. It's kind of the same fight. But I'm hoping it just similar to how I guess Zoshia was like this in low rank as well, but having like a lot of chained combo attacks and just like being, relentless. I would hope that they would change some of the AI on the monster to really make us sweat.
Did they say what area it's gonna be in? What's locale? Like what map?
Windward Plains.
Oh, all right.
It might be interesting if it spends more time in its nest. Most of the time when you fight it, like it basically dies before it can ever get there. But that's always like kind of an interesting mechanic that you never really see after a certain point, is when you fight it and it's sort of where it sleeps. There's like the thunder on the ground you to try and clear out with the crystals. I think that would be an interesting mechanic for them to try and to play around with, because that's what makes it more threatening, is if there's like the field on the ground for like the after explosions.
Yeah.
What if it could get some of those effects just by being arch tempered? Like it just had after thunder effects that just like didn't even need its zone.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. We don't spend a lot of time in that area.
Yeah, I think the laziest thing you could probably do is just to be like, okay, let's slide up the damage scale, and like that's about it. Like if it just hits harder, then that's not really fun, because also like, people have played this thing before. We know the attack patterns and stuff like that. So it would definitely be disappointing if all it does is just hit harder. But you couple that with like changing of like the AI, maybe if there is a new implementation of a new move or something like that, speed up kind of its rotation in its moveset. That would definitely, to like kind of throw off like all of our timing, that's definitely a lot more interesting. And I hopefully it's that instead of the just the damage scale type of thing, because like it's a monster you've played before, but like the whole point of like these events is like, oh, it's something new, it's something fresh. It's like a fresh take on what you've done before. So
I'm pretty sure all of the arch-tempered monsters in World were basically just damage and HP increases, right? Like there weren't any new mechanics. But even then, I still remember the arch-tempered monsters being pretty tough. Like, like the arch-tempered Volcano was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, that thing! Oh my god! Yeah, that was rough for me because it had unblockable attacks.
I can't imagine an iteration of Raidao as it is now, just being difficult.
Yeah,
I mean we've heard
they need to do something to it
beyond just the health and damage. We did hear. I mean, they were talking about needing to rework or wanting to rework the wound system for tempered, I believe, or if it not, or arch tempered. It'd be great if like arch tempered, like the stagger from wounds was decreased, or the amount of wound infliction is lessened in some way, just so that we're not relying on that crutch, which is what honestly allows us to kill a lot of these monsters so fast.
Yeah,
we can hope.
Speed up its attack patterns or make it faster, just anything besides just more health and just a longer fight, really.
I'm just as curious to see what the armor set's gonna have on it. Usually the arch-tempered armor sets are pretty good.
Yeah.
Just hopefully at least one best-in-class piece coming with it.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me, I gotta actually make the entire Mizutsume armor set, because I still haven't done that yet. And the Charger Blade is cool looking, but I think I'm not probably going to make it. I mean, I'll make it just for the hell of it, but I'm probably not going to use it at any point, because it seems very specific of like, oh, go get wet. I'm like, okay. But I don't.
I love that. Yeah. So silly.
I guess I'll carry something that makes me like
a water balloon.
Yeah, something like that. Of course, if you hear that sound, it means that we're all readied up for the topic of the show. And today's topic is actually twofold, but let's get into the first part. How are we feeling about Monster Hunter Wilds now that we are 2 months out from the release date? Monster Hunter Wilds released February 28th, and we've had quite some time with it. Games, especially in this day and age, don't usually have long-lasting legs. There's always something around the corner for everyone else to play. But Monster Hunter is a pretty big game. It was definitely a game that we were all looking forward to once it was announced. Like, now that we're 2 months out, like, how does everyone feel about the game? Are we feeling any fatigue? Are we still just as crazy about it as day one? Like, how are we all kind of settling in on the game so far?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start. I would definitely say that, speaking for myself, I haven't quite hit fatigue yet, but I am kind of slowly, like, kind of ramping down the amount of time I'm spending throughout the week playing it, just so that I don't feel that fatigue, that I don't get burned out. I did get to kind of extend a lot of the fun some weeks back when I was going back through the story with another friend, and I tried a different weapon, and that was a lot of fun for a while. But I'm just kind of waiting for more content, and I think we'll get on with y'all maybe once or twice a week and do a couple runs, and that's about it. But yeah, I've seen myself kind of picking up more of those single player games on rotation, rather than kind of putting in, countless back-to-back hours like we were doing for this in the first 2 weeks. How about y'all?
Well, before that, like, is it because the speed of which the content is dropping? Is it like or is it something else? Is like, expand about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it pertains to the fact that I kind of focus in and hone in on like one or two weapon classes, and I've effectively kind of built out all the sets and all the things that I wanted for that weapon class. I could very much kind of expand my play and kind of continue to have a lot of this energy if I were maybe to start trying out more weapons and new things. But I stick to my lance. I think I tried gun lance for a little bit and loving that. But it's just because I've already unlocked everything that I needed. I kind of did the grind.
You also crafted your perfect arson weapon.
Yes, I am guilty of.
Took out a lot of your
grinding.
A lot of your time spent. You could have spent it grinding.
True. Yeah. So even at the end game,
I would go on to venture to ask you then, like, if you find yourself playing less and less every week, like, is that not Monster Hunter fatigue? Like, you say that you haven't reached it yet, but like,
is that in itself?
How would you define it? How would you define it then? Like,
yeah, it's fatigue. Yeah, I'd say like choosing to not play because I'm sick of it or bored of it. Like, kind of feeling weird about, like, if someone were to say like, hey, you want to get on Monster Hunter? And I'm just like, ugh. Like, to me, that would be fatigue. That might be a more extreme approach to it. But that's my take. And I feel like I haven't gotten to that point. Someone wants to play, I'm like, let's do it. But I just don't feel like wanting to do it by myself.
That's a good point, because when I first started, I was like putting mad hours into it. Like, most of my friends that I've played my party of 4 are, I would say some of them are new, some of them are like returning players, but they're not like, super hardcore, right? So it's just like, I kind of just like stab myself in the back because I'm very vertical progression person, where I like, I want to get up to like G rank or high rank as fast as I can, because that's where, all the fun stuff starts. And I was just ranking up so fast that I was just leaving all of my friends in the dust, and it was just eventually just me solo hunting because they haven't caught up to me yet. And by the time they did catch up, I was just burned out. I was just like, Monster Hunter is very fun when you progress together with friends, but it's really lonely when you do it by yourself. And if you're a hardcore player like myself or like all of us, that they don't have time to carve out this many times to hunt, or they don't really have the same end game goals that you do. Like, most of my friends are very horizontal progression wise, but I'm very vertical progression wise. So by the time I got there, they're like, oh, I'm like hunter rank like 40 right now, and I'm like double their hunter rank already. It's like, I go back and help them. It feels like more if it's like a chore than like having fun. And that's where it just like kind of burned me out a little bit, because I was just non-stop grinding for all my decorations, finished my armor set, got the weapons I want, and I was just kind of just waiting. So that's why I kind of do Monster Hunter in waves, when like I wait for like enough content for me to actually come back to it and let my friends actually catch up, and then I'll join back in. So that's how I feel like I've been managing it lately. But yeah.
So you haven't done Zoshia or the Mizutsuno yet?
No, not yet. My friends have just got to a point where they're all pretty much caught up to me now, so that we can all go in together fresh. So
Great.
yeah.
Nice.
Nice, man. Well, we're definitely getting your ass back in when Legiacrus comes out.
I am super excited for Legiacrus. I don't think any of my friends that I've played with have done an underwater fight ever.
Yeah.
So that's definitely gonna be a fun one for sure.
Well, probably it's not going to be underwater, but still, the fight itself it's a good monster. So definitely excited to make the armor set for that one too. But yeah, what about you, Max? How are you feeling about Monster Hunter as of right now, 2 months out?
I feel like I'm starting to get fatigued.
Yeah.
It's partially my like hunting horn exclusive nature, but it's like I'm on my quest to just craft all the hunting horns, but there's not really a lot of new stuff to do. It's kind of this thing where, you know, the new content comes out the night of, you do the new content, and it's like, all right, we did it. You know, my job here is done.
Yeah.
When's the next update?
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels.
It might be just
They're
because
kind of-
we're so good at the game now, or we played so many Monster Hunters that it's just like second nature to, you know, to know how the monster goes, or know how the fight goes, or even know how Monster Hunter goes in general. You know, it's like it's rewarding, but it feels like more of like a one and done kind of thing. You know, if you don't even like the set or you don't like the monster, you just get rid of it. It's kind of like, okay, I'm not fighting this thing again.
But I mean, even now, like with the fact that you can get gems and stuff as guaranteed rewards from like investigations, it's like you really don't have to fight a monster more than a couple times to get like the whole set. And so it's like, even if you wanted to make the whole set, maybe if you wanted to make all the weapons for a monster, that would be a different story because you need a bunch of gems. But still, I mean, it's like you could realistically make the whole new armor set for Zoshia, which maybe not Zoshia because that's kind of annoying because of how it's tied to the limited investigation. You can't just fight as easily, but you could basically make all the stuff for the new monsters within one night if you were like dedicated grinding to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't when it comes to the speed at which they release new content. Like, it's never going to be fast enough for everyone. Like, for the people that are like us, you know, we finish the new stuff in like a night, and we're like, all right, maybe, you know, we hopped on a couple days later, but you know, we already sort of experienced the update almost instantly.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I mean, you know, the amount of time it takes for them to like develop a new monster and get all the work done and implement it in the game is like probably a pretty long time. And I don't know, I know they're worried about probably maintaining a player count, you know, like the tie is between either holding off and having like one big update with multiple monsters and like have it be a big event that brings people back in, or it's kind of this like very slow trickle that we have now, which feels kind of painful. Like the
let's all move over to the Palibros real quick. Sorry, man. Fuck me.
I totally forgot about that.
I totally forgot.
We normally call that before it starts, and then
give me 1 second. Let me go tell him what's. Oh, he already left.
Yeah.
Fucking damn it! Hold on.
You're like, what did I do?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Max. Well, hold on. First of all, one of the parts of this episode that made me fucking die already is the fact that Jason turned into like Daft Punk at one point when he was explaining something.
There's a train in the background.
Oh my fucking
What was the sound? I heard train too. It was a train. Yeah, I thought like I heard a siren or something. I was like,
oh, it was a train that messed up. Okay, because you like hell turned into a Daft Punk song, and I was cracking up. And then this happening. I'll probably keep this in. But yeah, you were saying, Max.
So I think they're just torn between like having it like no content for a while and then saving up for like one big release where it's like a meaty update that like that feels really good versus kind of the drip feed that we have now, which kind of like it's kind of painful to me. Like, we got the Blossom Festival, like you said, and I totally forgot. Like I was already like, all right, the new event, and we're gonna have a new monster or something to go with it. Oh no, never mind. That's a week later.
Yeah.
And so we came in for the event, and it's like, there's nothing like new to do. Like there's a couple event quests, to fight, the same monsters we've already fought for like some tickets or something for the event armor, but it's like, it's not. Even with the launch of the event, it's not like a ton of like new content.
Really quick, does anyone know, like off the top of their heads, how many hours they put into Monster Hunter so far?
I'm at least 150 at least. 150 maybe more.
Okay.
I only have the Steam like estimate, but I know that doesn't count like idle time.
I'm at about 100-ish.
About 100. Okay.
114.
Okay. I think I definitely have the least amount of time. I think I'm at like 70, maybe 75 hours. But yeah, I hear you guys, and I also am feeling a little bit of the fatigue. I am super busy. I don't have that much time to play, especially have to edit and do all the stuff for the podcast. I do find myself wanting to play it though. Still, I think about it and I'm like, like I wish I would be playing Monster Hunter right now, but I'm also coming into like playing other games as well from my backlog. That being said though, like this is the point in the game where I usually start venturing out to something new, looking for like a new weapon type, so that I don't feel like the staleness of like having that one, like being a charge blade main. Yeah, I can go ahead and making all the charged blades, but I know my playstyle, and I know I want to rock paralysis, and I got the end paralysis one for Lalabrina, and I'm like, like this is like, if I start hunting monsters based on their elemental damages and stuff, first of all, it doesn't even need to be that hardcore yet, so I'm like, okay, I'm still just gonna be rocking paralysis. And then like I just don't really find myself making any other variants or any other of the weapons just based off of that. So I think now, like, my time to like change weapons is like now, just so I have like get more hours in, have a fresh feeling, and like I want to play more Monster Hunter. I still think about it, and I think this is basically what I'm gonna have to do to like kind of keep myself in the loop and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna do it if I don't want to play the game, but I do want to play this game. So that's a perfect transition into like our main topic. Our second main topic is I'm gonna let the wheel decide what my new main weapon is gonna be, and I'm gonna be playing this exclusively until I guess I get bored of this weapon, and then we're gonna try another one. So I'm actually really hoping I get something weird or something I haven't really tried before. Like some of the weapons I'm interested in, or is actually the insect glaive. When I was editing the speedrun the challenge quest that we all did, like I kept watching Max's, and I was so awestruck. I was like, this looks fucking cool. Like the insect glaive is so weird. Well, that Kinsect was so slow. But I was like, okay, I could figure out something for that. But I love the way it animates. I love how different a playstyle it was from being a charge blade, where I could tank stuff with my sword and shield. Like, it's very graceful. There's a lot of movement. It's completely different from what I kind of like find myself doing as a charge blade main. So I'm interested in speccing like my armor and stuff around that. There's also the hunting horn, which I'm gonna have some pointers from Max if I ever get into it. Definitely gotta learn. I gotta go take a music class with him. I'm also interested in the gun lance. That was the first weapon I was kind of really interested in when I first ever started Freedom Unite, and I was like, this looks cool. There's a fucking gun and a lance. Like, that's Final Fantasy VIII right there. Like, you know. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and try that. I also want to try the hammer again. That was like my second weapon choice in Freedom Unite, because I was like, oh man, it's a big fucking hammer, can knock out monsters. The gameplay of it is like is very akin to greatsword of like knowing the timing of monsters, knowing the patterns, but also knowing your like frames and stuff like that. So I'm really interested in that, and then the bow. Like I like bow. I like seeing Ryan like flip and dip and doing those last minute dodges. I was like, that's fucking cool. Like I didn't know bow looked like that. Especially I played bow at the tail end of Monster Hunter Rise, so it would be nice to get back into it. Never been huge on like heavy bowgun and light bowgun. I know you could do some real damage real quick with those guns, but I don't know. I always felt a little too far off for me. Like if I'm gonna shoot something, I want it to look aesthetically like a bow. So yeah, it kind of keeps in line with like my head canon of like Monster Hunter. Not saying that heavy bowgun users and light bowgun users aren't real Monster Hunters, but you know, I just want something that looks a little bit more like of, I guess, the world aesthetically. But yeah, Brian, if you can, go ahead and throw up the wheel for me, and let's go ahead and see what I get.
Let
Please
us
land on
find
longsword. Just please.
Yes. Basically anything that's one of our mains so that we can just be sensei for you for a little bit. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll need to get that clip Michael Fassbender from Alien Covenant where he's holding out the like, you blow, I'll do the fingering with the holding out the little flute. where they're playing music together and Alien Covenant.
Yeah, he's a synth, right? Or
the two androids are like playing music together.
Yeah.
And he's trying to teach him how to use the flute or whatever.
Oh, that'll be the way. You'll hold one thing.
Yes.
Pat will do the other.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think we could do that. I was gonna say we could either do one spin and see what I get, and then call it there, or we could do like a knockout of like we spin, see what it gets, and then knock that version out. But I don't think you have access to change the wheel in any way.
Correct.
I should do that, friend. I should just do that at some point. Like I know where you live, so like it's not like I can't ever find you if you fuck with my stuff. But yeah, yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and spin it the one time, and let's just hope to God that it's something that isn't
a longsword.
Like, isn't longsword, because I already have longsword actually.
True.
All right.
Okay.
What do you
let me know when you're ready?
What do you guys think I'm gonna get?
I'm gonna be weird. What if you just get sword and shield?
I was gonna say
I wouldn't be mad at that actually.
Yeah.
Like it looked interesting. I think the last speedrun I watched was a sword and shield, and I was like, oh damn, this just like shield drop mechanic looks, and that's actually what I main in Monster Hunter now. So I would not be opposed to it.
It's pretty
as
good.
long as it's not light or heavy bowgun.
Yeah, if it, I'm gonna say it now. If it is light or heavy bowgun, I'll still do it. I won't like it, but I might.
But I won't love it.
I might try something else as well. Like I won't be.
You probably just take it to the next title update patch.
Yeah.
Just play until the next.
That's pretty close. Pretty close.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, I'm down. Go ahead, Brian.
Here it is. Moment of truth. What are we gonna get?
The wheel to determine your fate.
The odds be in your favor.
Whoa! Yeah, let's
got
fucking
you
go!
You got the insect.
All praise be to the wheel. That's amazing.
There it is.
I totally forgot. I saw it slowing down around switch axe. I was like, oh fuck! I forgot that was a weapon. And so yeah, I wouldn't be mad at Swaxin either. But yeah, super glad I got the insect glaive. It's definitely not kind of like, I guess it's definitely very intricate as a weapon. Like I would say the same as like hunting horn. Like it's not just okay, let me just swing this thing and then you get the damage like a great sword. Like I like learning more like the weirder stuff. So I'm glad that I got insect glaive. It would have been cool to get hunting horn as well. Just something completely bonkers and crazy and new and weird to learn. So yeah, I guess as of right now, until Title 1 or Title 2 update, I'm gonna be an insect glaive main. It gives me another reason to log more hours into Monster Hunter Wilds. So yeah, I'm excited.
That is crazy luck that you got what you want.
I should go buy Lotto.
I'm gonna say,
man, I saw red and I saw that longsword was falling on the red tile and I thought it hit longsword. I was gonna be so happy. Like, yes, converted. I know.
Could have been insect glaive, longsword, or hunting horn. Would have been.
Yeah. After a certain amount of time, I'm going to, or I guess each episode, I guess following this one, I'll give you guys like a bit of like my hunting or not hunting horn, my insect glaive progress, and let you guys know what I'm rocking. Let you know the set that I'm kind of working towards, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to be able to talk about that. And I'm glad I like get to expand upon my Monster Hunter gameplay now. It won't just be all charge blade stuff, because oh man, it's so hard to just like keep paralysis damaging everyone and just seeing it's just so easy, you know. Like I want a challenge again.
They're gonna run a paralysis insect glaive.
So I'm gonna run exactly. Oh man, you know me too well, Brian. But that brings us to the end of this episode of the Palibros. Brian, Max, and Jason, I want to thank you guys for coming out for another episode. And of course, fellow hunters, I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of the Palibros. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode and want to keep up with us, you can hit that subscribe button on YouTube, or you can follow us on Spotify and a variety of other podcast services. We really hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's been a fun one. Miss you out there, Ryan. We'll hopefully catch you in the next one. And yeah, thank you guys for all the support. We've made it to 10 episodes. It's been great so far, and hopefully we can make it to another 10. So thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for rocking with us this far. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and until next time, happy hunting.